there, Master Hellish here, and welcome back to Printing 3D. Now, I am not going to print anything today because it's been a little while. I showed you me wanting to get the printer, getting the printer, doing initial prints, and some of the things that I've printed. But that was quite some time ago, and over the last few months or so, I've had a few upgrades, and I haven't had the opportunity to individually tell you about them. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go through them all now, tell you what upgrades I've made, why I've upgraded those particular things, and then we can carry on with some more printing adventures in the next episode. So let's go through them quickly. Here is my Ender 3 V2, and it used to be over there. I want to do a different project over there, so it's been moved along the shelves, and now I keep it here in the corner along with various different supplies. It's pretty much the same setup I had before. So it's had a move, and we've had a camera change. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. I did originally print this bracket. It clips onto the heat bed here, and I had a web camera here. Now, I got rid of that because, to be honest, it was a bit rubbish. The web camera was just not the quality I wanted in terms of getting the good image. Now, it was good for getting an image where the print was relatively stable and you could see it growing as it went. Because the camera was attached to the print bed, that was a big plus. However, yeah, the image quality I don't think was worth it, so screw the time lapses on that point. However, I do have a camera. Now, this camera is for me to monitor the prints, just in case any of the prints go wrong, or in case I want to see whether it's finished or not. Now, this is just a Tapo smart camera. I believe it's a C110, maybe? That's what it looks like. There you go. And these ones are really quite good because they've got a memory card in them, and you can, use the onboard memory and see them live without any sort of subscription. They do have a subscription service so that you don't, so you can use it on the cloud and stuff, but that's an optional extra, and these work really well without it. So this camera used to be somewhere else in the house. It's been repurposed, and now I'm using it to monitor my printer. Next up is this. This is the feeder. Okay, so the feeder takes the filament, and there is a motor in there with a. In fact, I take this off here. You can probably have a better look. There you go. You can see there is a serrated. I think it looks like a brass fitting, and that pulls the filament through this section and down the tube. Now, this was replaced. Let me just put that back on in the orientation, right? Where's the orientation? There we go. This was replaced as part of an upgrade kit that I got for my birthday. The upgrade kit was this section here and new springs. Now, these are going to be difficult to see in this video, but I'll attempt to do so anyway. There we go. There we go. New springs. Now, I don't know why this particular upgrade kit is sold in this manner. Why those springs and why the feeder, I have no idea. Presumably, it's because they're the two things that people want to upgrade the most about this printer, or the things that people feel they need to. And to be honest, I'm glad I did. Okay, so I don't know whether this is massively improved by it, but it certainly feels a lot more sturdy. This one is metal, the previous one was plastic. I have all the old parts in a little tub down here. There is the old one. And I had this kit from my birthday. I had it on my wish list, and my family bought it for me and was like, here you go, you can upgrade your printer. So that has been upgraded, and the old springs are in there as well. There they are, there's the old spring. I think the newer springs have a better sort of pressure, and they're supposed, I looked into it, they're supposed to maintain their position better. So once the bed is leveled or made true with the rest of the machine, then it's supposed to stay there better. So that was a nice little upgrade. One of those ones that I chose to do just because I thought it might be a good idea, not because I had a particular need. Okay, next up, we've had a new hot end. So the bit inside here, I'll show you the old one. There we go. So here is the the kind of the block and the cooling block for the hot end, not the actual heater itself. That is not in there. I've got a new one of them because I was having feeding issues. This is one of the reasons why I replaced this at the time I did. I had the packet to upgrade the kit for a long time, but I decided to upgrade that and get a new hot end. And that didn't resolve the problem that well. It turned out the issue was actually this pipe and the connection into the hot end. For some reason, it wasn't properly fitting in to the bottom of the hot end, and it wasn't sitting right. And that meant there was a small gap between the bottom of the feeding tube and the bottom of the block, which meant there was an area inside where plastic was being warmed and partially melted, creating a really bad environment for good feeding. Now, when I replaced the hot end, it came with one of these tubes, and so did the feeding block as well. So not only do I have the old tube, but I actually have a spare replacement tube now. And when I did the hot end, I kept the original heating probe. This is the whatever the heating probe bit's called. This is the actual heating element. Element's probably the word. I kept the original heating element on here so that I didn't have to mess around with any of the wires and unclip them and reclip them back again. So I actually have a spare one now. So I have a spare heating element and I have spare tubing from my upgrades, as well as also the old parts that I could potentially use if I wanted to, maybe. So replacing the hot end didn't really fix the feeding problems I had directly, but the new tube that came with it is supposed to be more heat resistant, and it fit nice and snugly into the heating block and so forth, and that better fit and refit is what then fixed the issue. And finally, we have a new bed, a new plate. Okay, so the heating bed itself is the original, but we have a new glass plate. And here's the old one. Here it is. There we go. Let's pop that there gently. This has had a lot of work. It's done a lot of stuff, and also it's had a lot of scratches. When I was inexperienced at using the printer, there was a lot of times when the end was scraping against the surface here. I've scraped the surface to try and get it clean and so forth, and it's not good. It's not good. So we've got a new one of them. Now, this one I didn't buy as a replacement part. I actually have a second one of these 3D printers now. And what I've done is I purchased it in the sale and I got an engraving head. So I've converted the 3D printer into an engraver. That means I've actually got a few spare pieces from the printer, because when you're engraving, you don't need this. And you don't need the hot end and stuff as well. So in theory, I've got a few spare parts, but I want to be able to run both 3D printers if in the event that I want to actually run them as 3D printers. So yeah, look out for videos in this series about the engraver in the future as well. But there we go. To summarize, I had some feeding issues. I bought a new hot end to try and replace it and fix it. That didn't work, but replacing the tube that came with it did work, and while I was at it, we've got a new feeder, new springs, and recently we've got a new glass for the bed too. A little bit of a camera repurposed from somewhere else in the house to watch what's going on, and there we go. We're up and rolling with some nice little upgrades to do some more printing. So there you go, a little bit of maintenance going on for the printer. Overall, I'm still very happy with this particular printer and the way it runs. And there is an upcoming upgrade that I've got, and I just need to remember where I put it. Ah, yes, here we go. It's down in one of these drawers, and that is, I did, while I was getting the engraver, also get the touch leveling kit. Okay, now,
I haven't had time to install this yet, but the idea is that it will help level the bed. Or no, it won't level the bed. It will measure the bed and then offset to counteract for an unlevel bed along the way. So I've got that, and that is going to be a future upgrade. In addition, I've got some aesthetic things to put on as well. I've 3D printed some little covers and things that can go on the, let me see, can we go like that? Yeah, on parts of the 3D printer as well. Like that. Oh, will that all fit on there as it is? Yeah, something like that. To try and kind of give it a bit more of an aesthetic feel. There's a few bits of plastic and strips to go on there. We'll see about that. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, a couple more little upgrades to come. So look out for more upgrades in the future, more printing, more tests, more trials, more problems, of course, and also look out for that engraving stuff too. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.